live chat, so I'm not sure what's going on here. So I'm going to go back to it and see what I can bring up again. There we go. Well, that was the last one. Was that this one now? That's this one now. Okay, now we're live. Now it's on. So I don't know what YouTube was doing before. Hopefully you guys can switched over to this one. Oh, let me get the. That's just weird. Sometimes YouTube just does weird things because it wants to, I think. I don't know. So oops. Okay, I'm bringing this up. Bring this up. And it says bring that up. There. That's weird. That had something to do with YouTube. That wasn't me. Honest, guys. Sorry about that. Yeah, that's just odd. I don't know what the heck was going on there, because it it was came out just exactly the same, except this time it's showing the picture and last time it didn't. So oh well, we do with what we do. So I got a couple of issues here that I want to fix, and doing good this morning, Mike, by the way. How are you doing over there? You've been working on your video? Says YouTube's been throwing you out of stuff all day. Yeah, it was kind of that strange the other day too. I was having trouble with it. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. Maybe they're getting a little overwhelmed. That could be that's a possibility. Maybe they're just getting a little overwhelmed with all the people doing live broadcasts and stuff nowadays. So one of the things I did is I went back to this ash bowl and I changed my chucks. I went to one that has little grooves on the outside, so it may hold just a little bit better. I'm hoping, so it doesn't fly off like the last one, like it did last time. And I think I've got most of everything taken care of here. It's a very small hold. If you remember, I didn't make a very deep mortise because I don't like doing deep mortises. So it's holding on with fingernail hold. But I was playing a little bit with it this morning. One of the things I have a little problem, and that's with the trend mask. I had the trend mask. Hope we didn't lose Ryan. I see he's not back here yet. So if you guys, if Ryan, if you're there, say hi. But I think see 37 of you on watching now, so please hit the like button. I'd appreciate it. So as many of you may know, I have a trend mask, which has a respirator built into it and everything. It's a really nice, high quality mask. Well, been having a problem for quite some time with the batteries, and if you remember the other day, you kept hearing that beep 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 sound. And so I said, well, I can't have this going on. So I called the company, and they don't think it's the battery, and they don't think it's the charger. They think it might be actually the internal electrical parts of the on the mask itself that's either misreading or doing something with the battery. So they asked me to send the entire all the parts back so they could do an in-depth analysis. Well, I sent that to them. It's going to be a couple weeks before I get it back. Costs $40 to mail that to ship that back to them. That was the cheapest, $40 to ship it. So I'm hoping that they can fix it or replace it, one or the other. But I got to say this about Trend: a human being answers the phone within about 30 seconds of calling. So I mean that is really, really, really good. I mean I really appreciate that. And that's happened to me on 3 different occasions when I've talked to them. So really appreciate a company that here in the U.S. that actually answers their own phones and does what they're supposed to do. Um, and appreciate you'll see board handcrafted here is my moderator today, and 77 Rockets Ryan. Board hand is actually Michael, and Michael is starting his own um, channel, and so I know he put up his first little video or short the other day, and hopefully he's going to be putting up a few more. We've been encouraging him to do it for a long time. So yes, Ryan. I had to do a restart because it wouldn't show the video. So that's why we're here on a second time. So I have to go back and delete that other one later. Anyway, so as you can see here, I'm going to be using a respirator mask. I hope you can hear me talking when I have it on, and I'm going to have to go back to my old cheap face shield. So let's hope that this does not come flying off too much, because I really don't want to be going to the ER or something because something came flying off. So I will try my best to enunciate and to make it easy for you to hear me. And if you can't, let me know, okay? Okay, the mask is on right now. So if you can tell me, if you can hear me, that's fine. Hi, Shoot. Hi, Corey. Your grandma died? Oh, that's horrible. Yeah, my mother-in-law just passed away last a couple weeks ago at the age of 90. So it's not a fun thing. So can you guys hear me? You can hear me fine? Okay, great. I'm going to try and start turning. And you know how I'm not a big fan of carbide, but for this particular ash, you saw how I was kicking my butt the other day. Now I have to be really careful with it. I'm going to go with this. And I actually thought of two different things. I thought of turning this bowl around and doing another bowl on the inside this way and leaving it solid in the middle. And that way you'd have two different profiles of a bowl. You'd have a bigger bowl here for candy or something. Turn it over and you could have a little bowl that you can put a candle in or something like that. And there's nothing wrong with that idea. I think it's a great idea. But for now, I'm going to see if I can't keep going this way. If for some reason it stops me, I'll switch and turn it and do something else with it. But we're going to give this a try, okay? Going to jack up the speed just a little bit. I don't want to get too crazy. Let's see. Because if it does come flying off, I don't want to go through the garage door. And I have a flat rest like the one that Ryan was showing last night. I've got a flat rest coming. It was supposed to be here sometime today, but they probably have delivering at 6 in the morning. So when it comes, this will be a lot easier because that flat rest is really good for this kind of tool. When you have this round one, it just kind of doesn't have much support. And mine will be coming from BM Tool Woodturning. And one of the advantages of them is they usually deliver out of Amazon, so it really comes pretty quickly here. There we go. And this is where it gets tricky. Yep. Putting all that outside pressure, and you're asking the miter to hold. You're putting pressure to spin it out. So you're going against the physics a little bit. Ooh, that's interesting. That knocked the carbide right off of here. In fact, the screw might have come loose or something. I don't know, but it shot the whole thing off. And there's not a bit of damage on the inside of that. Well, that's interesting. That's interesting. Fortunately, I do have a way of fixing that, and we will try and do that right now. But boy, you don't expect those things to come flying off there quite like that. Okay, let's see. We're going to use this one. Yeah. This one. I just happen to have another screw here, or nut. The bolt, I guess, is what you call that. It's a bolt. So now watch this man with the fat old fingers drop this thing under a table or something, and then you will not see me finishing that off. Okay. I have to find the here we go. Got that so far. I think this is it. Yep, that's it. Oh, thank goodness when you get new cutters, they also provide you with an extra bolt or two. So we will continue. We will persevere. Nothing stops a well-prepared wood turner, right? What you got? I gotta wait and see what you got here. Hey Johnny. How you doing? It's always the screws. Yep. Well, I've always had a screw loose anyway, so that's nothing new for me. But I think it's all the vibration from this really tough wood doesn't help any either. So I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. Along with everything else, you have to check all the time. Now you have to check the screw on your gouge. So let's see. It is on there tight. This is on there tight. Let's go for it. Well, that's good. I should have known when it was chattering when I went through here that there was something wrong with that nut or that bolt, I guess. So yeah. Well, the good news is this is going in pretty nice and thin now. That's good. Okay, I'm going to try and bring you in a little bit closer on here if I can. Oops. There, got a little better picture there. Okay, let's go for it. Pick it up a little bit more. See what happens this time. Usually easier to go in from here. Oh, don't need that. Yeah, and even that fast, it's actually loosening up just a little bit. Just a little tiny wiggle in it. For those of you asking, yes, I am angling it when I get into the side, but Okay, let's try to get a little bit more out of here. So I don't want to get my head in the way. Okay, now I kind of want to see where I am gauge-wise. I'm right about here. So I got to go in another, maybe a little less than half an inch, and then I got to start going this way again in order to match the curve on the outside. That's going to be a little bit of a challenge. There's a tendency when you're worrying about the sides to start getting a hump in the middle because you're going in further on the edges here than you are on the top. And you want to make sure that, especially with the carbide, that you're continuing to keep things pretty even across. There you go. Ooh, I like that. This is really, really hard work, but that's good. It should hold a finish pretty good. Let's see what that's at. Gotta get some of this out of here. Yeah, getting real in there. And when we get a little break here, I will show you what happened to the ones I did the other day. They're looking really nice. And I think they're ready for the show next week. Okay, let's see. Yeah, we're right about here. So a couple more turns on that, and then I think I'm going to have to start going the other direction just to kind of mimic it a little bit. And that's when it's going to get a little difficult. fat right there. I need to double check that. That's on real good. This is on real good. There we go. There we go. Now I can start going back inward. You know what? I'm gonna have to move this just a little bit. There we go. Whoa! Like that. Don't catch anything. A little rough spot there. Nope. Okay. Take it lightly. There we go. I have to start getting it going sloping downward. That's, whoa. Got a lot going on there right now. Okay. There we go. Yeah, I think I got that going now. What am I missing over here? Need to clean up your shop. Oh, hey, Mike. Well, hi to your son, Mike, or Mims, I should say. Hey, Rennick. Oh, we're getting quite a few people in here. Let's make sure we're getting some likes also, please. And subscribe if you haven't, but I think most of you guys have. Thank you. Let's see if we can finish this off a little. Okay? I'm going to try and get you down inside here a little bit more. If I can. I'm not certain if I can. I don't want to ruin the camera angle too much. But let me see if that gets you a little bit better view. Okay? I have 3 camera stands. I have 2 sitting here now. I've got an overhead one. But since this is inside work, I didn't think the overhead would be much use right now. How are we doing now? Going in. I don't know if I'm going to get the profile just like I want it. Trying to make that a little bit sharper, acute change there. I don't know if it's going to come in that way. Right now I'm right about here, so I don't have much further I can go down, but I can come out a little bit more. Make that a little bit more pronounced. Okay. Smooth this out a little bit. There. I think we've achieved bowl status. Got a little hump right there to try and take out, and that's going to be tough. See about that. Yeah. Got most of a little bit of a hump right there. Now it wants to go down further. Okay, well then I got to come up from this way. Boy, we are really getting kind of thin right there, so I got to be really careful. There we go. And I think I might be able to sand out the rest of that. Okay, I think we've achieved bowl status. Make sure my outside rim looks good. Okay. All right. Well, it didn't break. Fingers crossed so far. Didn't break. Now the fun part, the sanding. Let's see what we can do here. And I'm gonna have to turn this on. I beg your pardon, guys. This is gonna be a little loud, but I need it.
We got that hard spot there. Yeah. Let's reverse that. Not happy with that right there. I'm going to go in there with a scraper. I'll go in here with a scraper for a second, see if I can't clean that out without breaking the bowl. Oops. Forward. Don't go backwards, go forward. There we go. Trick here is never be satisfied until you're actually really satisfied. There we go. It's coming down now. A little bit more here. There we go. Yeah, that took that hump out. There we go. Now I'm happier. I'm sure the person that buys this will be a little happier too, because I took that extra 30 seconds or so and a minute and get it right. Okay, good. Now we can get a little bit better sanding on it, and then we'll start finishing this off. I'm putting no pressure on this at all. Let the sander do all the work. I'm just holding it over the wood surface. Forcing sandpaper actually doesn't do anything to increase the amount of sanding it does. It just makes your hands tired. Yeah. All right. Last one here. Yeah, that's real smooth. Okay.
Yeah. Now I can take this mask off and talk to you normal again. Whew. Not a big fan of wearing masks all the time. I'd never make a good doctor. Can't sit there all day with a mask on. Okay, let's see if we can put a little on the inside of this. Renew the outside of this. And see where we are. Get it going in there. I look forward to using some of that finish that you've been using, Ryan. And if you want to put the link to that down there for others to see, go ahead. But it looks like it gives you a real nice finish, so I want to give it a fair shot too. I was looking at Mylan's friction polish on. I came up on my Amazon thing the other day saying, "Hey, do you not want to reorder?" And this friction polish was around $16. Now it might be a bigger size, I'm not sure, but the one I saw said $48. I don't know if it's tripled in price or if that's a slightly larger size, but either way, I'm glad I bought that a couple years ago because I mean, it lasts a long, long time. Don't get me wrong, but boy, that's a big price hike if that's the same size bottle. I don't know if any of you know. Please put it in the discussion here and let us know. But I like that friction polish. It's great with pens, especially. Really nice with pens because it will buff up pretty well, and a little bit of the friction polish on there takes away any little tiny imperfections you may have had that you don't not even seeing, but you might feel a little bit. And I'm going to give you one more idea for finishing, and I can get one out here. They're called Scotch-Brite pads, or sometimes they're called other things, but other names too. But basically, Scotch-Brite pad. They basically have a very low abrasion, but they really will mold to any surface and take off any little tiny things that you have. And it's really good. It's a good polishing piece before you put your final coats on, because it'll just get in there and knock out any little things. It's great for burnishing. This one's a little bit stiff. I got to loosen it up a little bit, but see here, it's bringing up that polish just a little bit. It's really, really a handy little thing. Doesn't hardly cost anything. And I'm all for things that don't cost much. I don't know about the rest of you. So I'm going to let that sit for just a second, and I'll catch up with what you got saying over here. Let's see. Consensus was to much harder in the mix. Okay, yeah, okay. I see what you guys are talking about. There's other blue things that make things harder too, but I don't want to get into that. There we go, Bumble Shoots. Thank you, Ryan, for that. And he's got a discount code. So, and Nuba is the product name. Okay. Thanks a lot for putting that in there, Ryan. And hopefully everybody will give that a shot. Um, it really nourishes the wood, from what I understand, and gets in there and provides a protective surface. And you may still want to put something over the top if you do something that's like going to handle a lot of outside work. You may want to put a shellac on it, but you don't need to on all of them. You don't need to have a high buff on everything either. Um, this is soaking in that coating that I put in. It's going to get another coat inside, but there's nothing really fancy about this kind of wood, so you have to kind of do something with the styling of it. That's why I did this kind of shape. And Ryan, you were talking about that the other day. When you have wood that's not not overly interesting, with a lot of curves and curls inside and all that, or unusual grain, then you kind of want to accentuate the wood a little bit to give it a little more pizzazz, and that's perfectly fine. But like I said, I'm kind of the opinion that when something has a lot of grain in it, like olive or birch or something like that, then you kind of back off and let the wood do the speaking, and you just kind of bring it out in it. Just bring out the beauty of the wood. Don't have to really change the look of it too much. But like I said, everybody to their own opinion on that. I'm just getting one more coat on here, and I think we'll be finished with this. Okay. Let that soak in for a tiny bit. See, the inside's really glossy right now because it's soaked in most of what it could. This was a pretty dried piece of wood. I don't anticipate it having any cracks or doing anything else. But you never know. You never know. So let's just leave that alone for a minute, and I'll come back and wipe it off, and we'll be done with that one and go on to the next one. Meanwhile, I told you I would show you what happened with the ones from the other day. Here is that piece of oak after I've finished it, and it really is black around the outside, or no, not nearly black. It almost looks like it's charred or burnt, but it never was. It was actually just the way it soaked in the oils and finish, and then the inside got this nice um, coloring to it, so it makes a nice little interesting dish. And the bottom is just what it is. So I like that one. And then this one was that compact mirror that I did, and you can see the colors in that wood. Looks pretty nice. Just super glued it on here, and you're done with it. It's a very quick project. You could knock out 7 or 8 of these in an hour, I would think. It's just a mirror, see? And they also make one that's a pill box. And you'd be surprised how many people, especially ladies, like to have something like this because they always have to carry a couple pills with them, for lunch or whatever, and or even an antacids or something, or just want to have a compact mirror. This really fits the spot. So there's 2 projects that were started yesterday or started Thursday. Wanted to show you how they ended up. Turn this just a little bit. I actually saw a wood turner that had hooked up a very a set of pulleys, so it turned it very slowly, so its finish did not stick to one side. They would turn it probably 1 revolution a minute or so, all the way around, and he would put that on and leave it for 20 or 30 minutes until the coating dried. And I thought that was a really smart thing to do. I just don't think I have the room in the shop to do something like that. Um, but if any of you guys are kind of like tinkering engineers, that's a really great little idea project. It just turns it very slowly, so nothing hangs. It was also good for gluing, because if you're gluing something and you don't want it to run around or run off, you can do that also. Another little trick, which I usually try to remember to do but don't remember all the time, is have something to put underneath your when you have something on the lathe, so it doesn't drip on your lathe and screw that up and get it all dirty and sticky, because you want your stuff to move quickly and evenly. So, okay, so there's that. Let me get a towel here. One of my surgical reuse towels. I don't know what happened to the guy that was having the surgery, but hey, thank you for the use of the towels when you were done. And we're going to kind of wipe off a little of the excess. Okay. Now let me kind of turn up the speed. We'll buff this just a little bit. You notice I'm not standing right in front of it. I'm not an idiot or a daredevil. I'm standing to the side just in case. But you do notice that what I said I would do to change how the hold was having a set of slight teeth grips on the inside uh, on the chuck. Sorry, I was trying to remember the word. On the chuck, really makes a difference. The other one was smooth, and it just didn't have quite the grip that this one did. And I'll show you when I take it off the chuck here in a second. Here we are. Okay. Take this off the chuck. See, that's a very tiny mortise. That's about 1/8 of an inch mortise is all I had holding this on. But these right here, I don't know if you can see in the picture. Maybe I can get a little closer. Let's see. These right here in the end, there's like 2 little lines of grip. And it's dovetailed slightly, and there's also some on the inside here, these little ridges. And that little bit helps just that much more in biting into the wood and holding it. But we had no tear out, we had nothing. This worked, even though I had this crack starting that I knew about when I did it. And this one over here, it was a big concern because we had a crack that actually ran all the way across here. Now, could I have gone a little deeper? Maybe. Let's see. Let's just see. We'll get out the Mighty 8 here and see how close I came in the center. I came, oh yeah, I could have gone more. I had about, not quite a half an inch, maybe about, yeah, a little less. That's all much I had left. So I could have gone a little deeper. The sides are pretty good. I could have gone in here a little bit more. I just didn't want to really push that too much because we had another one of those that broke out at the end. So little gun shy on it, but I think that makes a good sized bowl. Very utilitarian. It's not going to sell for a high price or anything. For the amount of work that I put into it, this is probably not what you want to be using all the time because it's just a lot of work, and I'm not sure if I'd get more than maybe $15 for this. But depending on where you're selling. But I may work a little bit more on the finish of it. I don't want to muddy it up. You want to keep that. And the problem is when you start putting more finish on, you tend to get this muddied up, and you lose that grain look. So you want to be really careful that you don't overdo. Okay, but it's nice feel to it. It's nice and smooth, and there we go. Well, we got this one out of the way. Whew, I wasn't sure we'd save that one, but a little bit of experience and a lot of luck, especially a lot of luck, goes a long way. Okay. Hey Ryan, I know that you use the thing to get your chuck loose, but there's another way of doing this too. Right here. There. Just put your key in and turn it. Comes right out. Also, keep these cleaned out. Get in there and clean this out and clean this out every once in a while because it does get a lot of crap in it. And again, these little rubber washers that I got for like a dozen of them for like, I don't know, $7 or something. Big difference in getting the nylon ones that seem to stretch and tear out. I've had the same one on here for over a month now, and they're very replaceable. They're slightly larger than the normal hose type O-ring, but they work really good. And I did that on one of my videos. If you want to go back and look at one of my shorts about that, it really works. It really helps. So if you remember this one, this is having a lot of fun. Look at all the cracks in here. Let me see if I can. I'm going to pan out just a little bit. Okay. This one's having a lot of cracks in it because we released all the pressure on the outside of it. So the other day I went ahead and I put a little glue, especially where this pith is, which you don't really like to have in there. And so you see cracks here, radial cracks here, all over the place, and even where I glued it continued to crack up. So as it was drying, so I've let it kind of sit for a couple days and steady itself out a little bit. So now we can go back in and we're going to take all that off, all that glue out of there basically, and we will. It's a pretty piece of wood. I only have a little bit more to get this flat spot off here, so I'm getting pretty close to that. And I have this part over here, which is the piece of the bark. So I'm not sure if that will stay on or if the bark inclusion will come flying off. I've got one over here too. So let's. I think I'm going to change your position if I can. So bear with me. I'll try not to make you guys too seasick here. I'm going to change your position over to my other holder and see if we can get a nicer view from over the top. Oops. Like that. Back this off just a bit. Okay. Let me know if that works for you guys. Okay. We'll move it back after a minute. I just want to kind of go from this angle, see if I can do some damage without damaging myself in the process. If you stay tuned on here, Ryan's going to be going live in about an hour or so, right after mine. So you got a whole day of turning here. You got me, and then you got Ryan at 77 Rockets, and then we're going to have Mike from the Whacking Shack at about noon our time. So I guess it's about 2 o'clock his time, something like that. So we'll just be passing you back and forth to the different ones as we finish and move on to the next person. And that's kind of how we roll, right, Ryan? Okay. Get some of that glue off of there. Okay. So let's see. That looks pretty flat. Yeah, okay, good. Always a good trick to use. All right. And let's, move this a little bit. Okay. See if we can get the sides here just a little. Now remember to change your body when you're doing this. You don't move the tool, you move your body.
Okay, let's do a shortcut on the way back. Let's see what we got. Now I'm covered in shavings. That took all that glue off. And I think we got through that flat spot. So right now it's just a matter of shaping it up a little bit. I think we need to do a little more off the edge, bottom here. I did mention doing this in a more of a V cut, so I think maybe now's the time to start doing that. If I can get it going here. Bear with me on that. Ooh. I'm going to have to speed this up a little. There we go. Hey, look at those curls that came flying off of there. Whew. Nothing else, this is kind of a fun wood to turn. And it keeps getting prettier the more we get into the middle. Yeah, that shear cut nearly makes it good enough. You almost don't need to sand. Just got a little bit of rough here and there. But that shear cut really helps. That's the push cut. We do need to establish the base here for holding this together. And this is a heavy piece of wood, so I'm really kind of just a tiny bit concerned. But not a lot concerned. Yeah, we're looking at, yeah. Okay. Let me see if I can do this justice. I'm going to go with the smaller one here. This Glen Lucas spindle gouge is just one of my favorites here. It just really gets in there and does the work. And I really do like the way it's built. It does not lose its sharpness. It really holds it tight. It's a really good tool. When you find a good tool, well, if you stick with it. if I got enough room there. Okay, I can take it just like a 1/16 of an inch off of there, maybe a little bit more. So we'll take just a hair off here. This one has had that floor there really flat, and have this out here really flat. Those are two keys to making sure that you're going to have a good connection, nice and safe. Now, I avoided any of the soft wood. That looks like it's going to be really good. Now let's see if I can just go a little bit here. Just very delicately. There we go. Ryan, just for you, I'll try and decorate the bottom just a little bit because I know you like to decorate the bottoms now. So let's see if we can put a couple of little interesting grooves here. There we go. Just to give it a little more style, right? That was just for 77 rockets there. Okay. We got more of an angle here. I could make it more severe, but I think I'll stop with this. We do want to start getting some cracks. Even just since I've done that, some little cracks are starting to show up here. So we're going to get this surface sanded and filled with a little bit of polish and stuff so we can get moving on the rest of this and try and keep it from here. It's starting to crack even more. But we want to get this before it all starts to crack up on us. So let me get the sanding. Okay, I'm going to move you back out to the other screen again. Back to here. And there you go. It's probably a better view for this. Okay. Get this out of the way here. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to take off here, so it's going to take a minute or two. In there. All right, I'm going to have to turn this on. I have everything on remotes, which is really handy. And I'm getting wires in there. here. There's some really hard wood right here. And the sandpaper's not even taking the gouge. It's got a tiny bit of a gouge to it, and the sandpaper cannot take it out. Okay. Now I'm going to do an old trick you've seen me do before to make some cracks kind of disappear. We're going to put a little glue in there. Do a little of this. And then just kind of go back and forth this way with it. And don't worry. Yes, it's obvious at the moment. I'm going to go ahead and do this one. This one's long. It looks like a river. We're going to get some glue in there and glue in here and glue up there. And we're going to put a little of this on here. And you want to pat it in a little bit. Then you want to go across the grain. You don't want to go in the same direction that it is. You want to go across the grain of the particular crack. So if the crack's running this way, you want to run your fingers this way over it, as you can see. All right. That starts to do that. Great. I think there's any others I need to do. Probably not there. Maybe this one here. Okay. This will all come out in the wash, so don't worry about it. Get some dust on there. Okay. And we'll wipe it away like this. Okay. I'm just going to let that sit for a minute or so. Let it kind of get attached there a little bit. Very slight thing I need to brush and sand out right there. Don't worry, I'm not sanding where I put the crack. So fix the crack. I'm just sanding something off of those saws I want. There we go. Yeah, it's still right there. Okay. This is still with the high grit too, so this is like the 80 grit sandpaper. So, okay. Then we got sand over here. Yeah, but this is not cedar, by the way. This is cypress. So it is a little bit different than cedar. It's a little bit more slow growing, I think, and it's a little bit harder than cedar is. I know Chase has a piece of cedar that he's really hankering to get in and start turning on. I think it's good to practice on. I just don't know how hard it is, what the quality of the hardness is, and whether it will
It could be where it's one of those things you got to be very delicate with your turning or cutting, or it's going to go in real quick. So you got to be real careful with it. So we'll see. Okay, let's I can still feel it's a little tiny bit wet. It's still kind of hardening up there a little. That wood glue really grabs onto those pieces that I sprinkled on there. Okay, let's see if we can do something now. Let's see. Well, we'll time to disappear. See what we got. Okay. Count. Now, still got the cracks. We got the cracks, but they are not as prominent and they are filled in. You can see here. All those cracks I filled in here, they're much more filled in. It still looks pretty natural. Let's go to the next sander and see what we can do here. Got a lot of end grain here we gotta be careful with. I know you guys want me to hurry and get on the inside of it.
Plenty of time to just a second. I'll get this edge a little bit off there. There we go. Okay, bear with me, guys. One more, and we will start putting some finish on here and move on to the inside. Try to give this a quick. There's this little hole. This is some pretty red. Yeah, that is really smooth. All right. I'll hit this with a little goose.
Turn that off so I can breathe and talk again. Let's hit this and see what we can, kind of damage we can do here. Let's see if we can make this pop. What do you think, guys? That's starting to pop. Always love when I put the finish on here and you see that red come to life. I'll get the part closest to you here so you can see that. Get into those grooves. And we'll get some more of that with the second coat, but and those cracks are pretty much gone. A little bit here and here. I might need to do a little bit more sanding on it later. We'll see. Mostly I just didn't want them to continue to grow. And we can put a little bit of finish on there to make them kind of disappear completely. Yeah, well, hopefully, Johnny, this gives you some ideas on what to do. It's kind of one of those things. Hey, Chili, welcome to the group. As I said, anybody who wants to hit the like button, I'd appreciate it. I'm not sure how many likes I've got right now, but it would be nice to have at least 10% of the people that watch hit the like button. That would be really, really nice. That's not always the case. It's usually about 1 or 2% for most of us that put on these live shows because people just, for some reason, don't like to push the like button. And that's perfectly your choice, but it does help with the algorithms with YouTube and shows that we're on the right track with what we're doing. So would appreciate it if you can, or subscribe if you'd like. That way you'll know when we're doing lives. I do a live every Thursday at 3 o'clock Pacific time on the West Coast in United States and California. So calibrate your timing accordingly. You might be getting up really early in the morning in some parts of the world, or you might be in the middle of your sleep. But what the heck? What's sleep? It's not that important. Get up and watch us anyway. I know sometimes we have quite a few evening people that are watching us. Maybe we help them go to bed. I don't know. Maybe I put everybody to sleep. That's a possibility too. But 3 o'clock is the time that was kind of open for everybody to use, so that's why I grabbed it. Still got some of this loose. I'm still not sure about this bark inclusion in here. It may come off when we start doing the inside. We'll see. But it still has some drying to do. I need to do just a little bit there. See if I can get a little bit more of that off. Sometimes putting this tung oil on there kind of loosens up a little bit of that glue residue that I still have in here and makes it kind of disappear a little bit. So sometimes that helps. Let me see. Sometimes it also glues. It really messes up your sanding. You have to replace your sanding pad. There's nothing that's wrong. That's the nice thing about using tung oil. You're not going to hurt your finish. You're just going back and seeing something after you put it on there, and you go, "Oh, I want to fix that before it becomes a problem later." So that's what I'm doing. There we go. That made it go away a lot better. I'm going across the grain as best I can while it's turning. Just had to go a little bit deeper with the sanding. There we go. I'll go back with the finer sander here and fix that up just so that it feels good. Go ahead. There we go. Now I fixed that problem. That's much better. Now it looks really pretty in there. Okay, so go back, put a little finish on that, and oops. Still got some dry spots, so it's still sucking this in, even though it's relatively not really dry wood. It's still sucking it in places instead of pooling, which means that it still wants some more. That's okay. I can feed it as much as it needs. Okay, and I'm going to go this way now to remove any brush lines. Feel like the guy enjoy a painting a little bit. Rob Ross. I used to do some of his stuff. I have some paintings hanging in my house that I did of Rob Ross's. They're okay for personal viewing. I wouldn't put them out in the market for anybody else to see, but I like them. Okay. We're going to rub this out just a little bit. Won't be quite as shiny. That's okay. I'm just kind of rubbing it out. Now we're ready to turn it. Oh boy, that really feels good. That feels like velvet, man. That is just really feels nice. I love that feeling. Okay, well, let's take it off of here. Oh, got a little bit on my lathe. That oil won't hurt my lathe, but I don't want to leave the residue on there, so that's fine. So here's what it looks like right now. Even the bottom. Bottom looks beautiful. If the inside looks as nice as this bottom does, I've got a really beautiful bowl. Okay? If it doesn't, then, well, that's what it is. But that's what nice thing about working with figured wood or with wood that has a some kind of look to it is that it does. Oh, those are squares. No wonder. Can't use that. I need a square. There you go. Got to make sure you know which kind of screw you're taking out. Okay. As you can see, I had a good hold on this one. I had eight screws in this one, which is probably overkill. Could have done it with a 4-pin, but it's the one I had handy at the time. One thing you can't have enough of is face plates, because I use face plates on a lot of different items. Actually, this had an extra screw because it also has a built-in screw in the middle that makes sure you get right in the center. So that's kind of nice. Face plates and an extra chuck or two. I have 3 chucks, and sometimes that's still not enough. I still have to stop and go, oh, damn, I need to redo this. So, or change the sections, the teeth. So here we go. Fingers crossed that I did everything correctly. And we widen that out a little bit. Now let me get this wiped off. Take a brush of this. I set it on my lathe there and it was a little dirty. So don't want anything on the bottom here that can affect how straight the hold is. So you really want to make sure that you have everything nice and clean on the bottom here and on here before you get started, because you want to make sure you get a nice full, and that's a really good sizing this time. There we go. Now let's turn it up slowly. Oh, that's running pretty darn true. I'm going to loosen it one more time just to make double sure. It never hurts to give it a second try. Oh yeah, that's running very true. Okay, good. It means we got a good fix on that. So, just to be on the safe side, I'm going to bring my tailstock up on this at first while I work on the outside, just to give it a little bit more control. I don't often do this because I don't like having to work around the tailstock, but I think in this particular case it might be. Come on. There we go. Yep, right in that center hole. And that's why you want to have that little center hole there. It gives you so you're sure that you're getting everything lined up just perfectly. You're not having to move anything. So, and you don't want to overpress this. You just want it to be into the wood, holding it. Okay. Get some of my stuff out of the way here. I'm going to do a little vacuum, I think, first before I get started on this, only because I don't want to start slipping on all this stuff. Let me just get this really quick. The dust collector that I used is actually the dust collector that you saw with the big scoop on it is Buck Tools. They make really good products, and again, they have really good customer service. I've talked with them before. They're very fast, very efficient, very helpful. They make a good quality product, and the price was really good. Haven't looked lately, but I'm assuming they're still on Amazon, and I would give them a shout out anytime because they don't sponsor me or anything. No, nobody sponsors me, just so you know. But when I see a tool that really works well, I want others to know that it really worked well, so that they can take advantage of that too. So I have both the dust collector, which was that Buck Tools, and then of course I have this is my shop vacuum, and we've often talked about the difference between a vacuum and a dust collector. Vacuum only works when you put the nose right up against it. It's moving just material, and there is no vacuum beyond about right there. That's about it. When you have the dust collector on, it sucks volumes of air in, and the dust goes with it. And that's why there's a difference between the two, and they're for two different jobs. So don't use a shop vac as your dust collector. It does not work. But it works great as a shop vac. And when you put your shop vac into a housing unit like I do and put a sound baffler on the back to remove some of the sound, you get about 60 decibels as opposed to 90 decibels. It doesn't sound like a jet engine's taking off in your shop. You can actually talk to people, watch the TV, listen to the radio, do all the other fun things because you can actually hear stuff while you're running that shop vac. You're not waking up the neighbors, although I don't really care if they wake up or not. But they should be up now anyway, right? We're all up. They should be up too. Okay, so I've made pretty short work of all that material. There's a lot of stuff on the floor. It's amazing how much wood curls you get out of a short turning. I mean, we turned that small piece of ash, and we've turned the outside of this bowl some, and yet there was quite a bit to pick up. And again, I have nice rubber pads to stand out here. It helps me not get tired of my feet. All right. And we're not just doing lives, we try and do educational at the same time. See. Don't know what the law is over there, but I know you can't make excessive noise over here till about 9. Yeah, well, it's not excessive. Like I said, 60 with a closed shop. If you were outside, you would not even hear this. Yeah, we do have noise abatement laws like after 10 p.m., that sort of thing, here as well. And what the law basically says is the sound should not be heard over your fence. That's the line that they use. However, enforcement is an entirely different issue. So, live far away from your friends or put your fence far away and you don't have that problem. Okay, let's see what we can do on the damage on the inside here. I'm going to start right about here. So that's why I'm worried about this and this. Whoa, something flew out me. Something flew out. Yep, see right there? What did I say? That flew up and hit me right away. That's why I wasn't going real fast. Because I figured that might happen.
a little rough first, huh? Okay, let's get the roughness out. Okay. I had to stop there for a second. Didn't want to hit my wife with all the shavings as if she was walking by. They say, happy wife, happy life. Whoa. It's getting kind of grabby on me here. Okay, so why are we getting grabby here? Let's see. Okay, so we got knot hole, knot hole, knot hole, knot hole, and we still got these little screw holes, but got a lot of little knot holes and cracks coming, so I got to be really, really delicate here. This is established some sort of a run. As you can see, it's a really easy wood to turn. Much nicer than the oak or the ashley I was turning the other day. Okay, take the little nub off. Yeah, I'll pull it in a little bit more. Then I think I'm going to stop having the tailstock in here because it's just in the way too much. Okay, let's see if we can clean this up now. Let's see, I got that crack. This one. I'm not going to get around all that, so let me just get like this. Ooh. I'm going to hold that in line. That worries me just a little bit. I might be able to fill that in. Now, I'm going to take this off. Check that. Okay. And see if we can't start pulling. Okay. Now this way. Okay. Make sure. Yeah, we're starting to make a little bit of progress now. What do you guys think? Should I go a little bit thinner on that, or no? No beginnings. That's this is that cypress. It's still cypress that I'm turning. I know it looks a lot like the cedar, but it's cypress, and it. You sold your sharpening system. Well, I'm sure you sold it because you wanted to get a better one, or you wanted to get a newer one. I'm sure you had a good reason. You're not a dumbass. It probably made perfect sense to you at the time. Sometimes your needs change, but I don't think I would change. I like my system. That Wolverine one-way system, or what do you want to call it? seems to be a real popular one throughout the industry. It's really easy to set up and use. Once you get it dialed in, you just make yourself a little chart. You know exactly what to set up for every one of your tools. I use the coloring system here on mine. I am the sharpening system. What I learned from the sharpening system was from turnawoodbowl.com. And if you ever check out turnawoodbowl.com, he is an excellent instructor and really has some great ideas. And he has like a $50, I guess $49, whatever, video class that you can take anytime you want. You can watch every chapter you want. You can go back and look at them forever. You're on there permanently. And this was one of the little things that he came up with, which I think is terrific. It basically has a little penny in the inside, if you can see that. And when you put your tool in this, you get it set for exactly 2 inches every single time once you make this block, because the penny never wears out. It's scratched a little bit, but it doesn't wear out, and that keeps it from going any further. And you get an exact 2 inches every time. So when you go over to it, in fact, I'll give it a little sharpening right now. When you go over to sharpen it, you're already at the right depth, and as long as you have the right angle already set up on your machine, 20 or 30 seconds to put a whole new grind on this. Perfect. And that quick grind on there. Plus I have my second bevel right here, which helps me with getting into the bowl a little bit more. So really good system. It's not the one everybody uses, but it's one that a lot of people use. And I'd recommend it. So it's nice and sharp again. We'll go back in here and do some damage. Look at that curls. Take this set. Ooh. Yeah, these are really nice curls we're getting here. I'm gonna check my thing, maybe tighten it just a tiny bit. And by the way, when you tighten, you're not actually tightening. You're just feeling for tight. If it's tight, don't keep pressing, because that's when you can force cracks or force problems. You're not trying to tighten more. You're just trying to make it sure. Okay. Let's kick the speed up and see what damage we can do then. Okay. Look at those ribbons, huh? I'm trying to remember to stay not overcut. And Ryan, I know I'm getting into your time just about here. It's about 9 o'clock our time, so I'm going to try and finish this out of here before 9:30. So as soon as we're done here, please
77 rockets.
and hurry up without messing up. See what we can do here. Okay. Boy, very nice ribbon. You see what resharpening your blade, your gouge does, really, really nice. So, how much deeper do I want to go here? I need to go about another half an inch or so. Anyway. Okay. I don't want to have a peekaboo bowl. Thing pretty much the same all the way through. A little bit of here. Probably should use a scraper instead. Let me get my big scraper out here. Nothing like a scraper in the bottom there. I think we're getting pretty good there. Let's clean up the sides a little bit if I can. Okay. Yep. Okay, Ryan, I'm gonna try and get. Whoa, boy, this is a lot of stuff. I'm gonna try and get this out of your way here as quick as I can, so you can get onto your video. Let's see what we can do. Get this done. I'll turn this on. If you haven't yet, please subscribe. We'd really appreciate it. I know a lot of you have been on here. As soon as you get, as soon as I get the finish on the inside of this, you'll really see it pop. Okay. Oh yeah, that's coming out nice. Let's reverse. One little trick here: always angle your bowl a little bit in on the top. It gives it more of a slope, and it also gives it more of a look of being a little thin. But it doesn't kind of pop out that it's a little thick. Just give that little bit of an edge right here,
and it'll actually give it the optical illusion of being a little bit thinner. Okay, good. Now, second one in here. Okay. Smoother, that's a little bit better. Okay, good. All right, let's put a little color in there. Get done here, and I think what I'm going to do right here, I'm going to put just a touch of glue, and yeah, right here. Okay. Touch more glue here. Rub it in, and then put this on it. Uh-huh. Okay. Just a little bit. I'm going to hit that with just a real light thing there. That just kind of filled those in just a little bit. There we go. That is one of the most handy. It was one of the most handy tricks I've ever had on how to fill and take care of cracks. Okay, let's do this.
Okay. Woo. Get them on me. Bring it to life a little bit. Yeah, now it's coming to life. Finish that off a little. Another coat on the outside too. Just because it's been a while, it's kind of dried off a little.
You can take the mask off. Okay, so I'm just brushing the outside, like I said, just to make sure that if there was any dry spots, it gets filled in again. Down here in the bottom. This is going to be a pretty bowl. Here's the insides. Get that kind of. You notice I just keep this going. I got my left hand on the wheel and I just keep this moving so it's not going to pool in any one spot. Don't want brush strokes. This nice thing about this tongue hose, it's pretty much self-leveling. It doesn't leave a lot of brush strokes or anything. I just want to make sure we nourish all those cracks and stuff now and seal them at the same time. So this is going to go in. It's going to harden inside the wood grain, and it should keep it from cracking much more. I will probably put this through a microwave process, which is you weigh it, you put it in the microwave for about 45 seconds, take it out, let it kind of steam, for lack of a better phrase, lose a little bit of water weight, and keep doing that, letting it sit for about 45 minutes in between to cool off and dry out, and then weigh it and do it again. When it stops losing weight, it stopped losing water. And at that point, it shouldn't be trying to get out and you shouldn't be trying to crack as much at that point. I say that with my tongue first. Things happen that are beyond our. I mean, look at how much there are going on in this wood. But you get the general idea. And what do we think here, huh? Is this going to be a keeper bowl? Or certainly one I can sell? Here you go. You need a cheap system. You mean for sharpening? Well, the cheapest one is to hook up a disc to make a wooden disc and put a sandpaper on it, like a very low grit, like maybe a 2,000 grit, 3,000 grit sandpaper, and put it on your drill press. And you can make a little jig that you can also do this theoretically. I'm saying theoretically for your gouge. I see that we're in the death roll. There we go. That system, I've seen that system work, and you can find that online also. I think it's more for chisels than it is for gouges, but it may suffice. Um, you want to go side of this because I think it's taken about as much as it's going to take at this point, and it's going to be ready for final finish. Oh, probably with some or a wax finish. I'm not sure which yet. I may do a wax finish on this one and keep it kind of dull, not too bright. If you brighten it up, sometimes it shows all the little flaws you made. And I'm not sure I want to show all the flaws I have. Because every time you turn, you always notice the flaws, right? It's like a painting or anything else. The artist always knows more than the person observing it. But boy, I got to tell you, that feels really nice. I think I'm going to take this side of the. And you'll notice this miter held again. I'm a firm believer in this system for mounting your bowls. Turning. because I don't have to go and turn it around and cut off anything now. It's done. It is complete. So for me, that's one less step. It's one less place I can screw up or ruin the bowl somehow. So I'm all in favor of having a mortise tenon that you just leave in place, and it finishes it off really nice. I'm going to clean this off. Put this on here. See if we can remove this. And there we go. I'm going to wipe the inside out just a little bit. And there's our bowl. Hold that up for you to see. Apron on the other. My apron is covered, by the way. I'm covered. Probably going to have to beat myself against the house before I'm allowed inside. But here's the outside of that bowl. The bottom. Like I said, I don't have to cut a tenon off or anything. It's perfect. And yeah, I probably could have gone another 1/16 of an inch or so, maybe an 1/8 of an inch. But I'm pretty happy with the angle on the inside is on the outside. It's a nice smooth bowl. There'll be a little bit of finishing up work on this, but this is the basics of it. And I hope you like the bowl. And you remember the one we did earlier, which is right here. That fits nicely right there. Almost makes a top for it. They're so similar. But we got these two today. And I thank you all for joining me today. Like I said, Ryan's going to be going over on live on 77 Rockets. So go over to the 77 Rockets site. And hi, Laurent. Please hit the like button and subscribe. You see what we turned here today. I'm going to be putting this back up under my replay lives on my play. Watch this later today if there's anything you want to go back and look at. But I do appreciate you guys being here on a Sunday morning. I'm going to go get up, which is going to take me a while, and to get ready for the football games today, or NFL. And I hope you all have a good day. Check out 77 Rockets, and later on, check out the Whacking Shack. They're both going to be doing lives later on. Again, thank you very much for coming, and we'll talk to you on Thursday at our 3 o'clock normal time, 3 o'clock Pacific on Thursdays. Thank you very much, guys, and we'll see you soon.